Hey, this is Kehinde Fawumi. You're listening to the Unleash Your Genius podcast. In understanding financial intelligence, what I'd like to say is that you have three options. One is trading your time for money. That's what most of you do. I do it too, to some extent, but not entirely. Trading your time for money means that you work 8 hours and you get paid for those hours, right? Which means that if you do not go to work in a day, you don't get paid for that day. But that's completely limiting because you're basically limiting your ability to earn to the amount of time that there is. If it were possible to increase time, for example, to say that we want to have more days in a year or more hours in a day, this wouldn't be a problem. We just increase time and then you earn more money. But that's not possible. So by trading time for money, you're basically capping how much you can earn. Of course, I hear you. It's not as if you get paid for that time per se, because you get paid for the value that you bring to the marketplace. That's why not everyone get paid the same amount for the same time. Well, where someone is earning $1 per hour, someone else is earning 1 billion per hour. So it's not like everyone gets the same amount, but there's a limit to how much you can earn, and 96% of people are in this category, and it simply defines the poor and the middle class. It's a small way of thinking. It's a limiting way of thinking. Most people, the majority are there and would always be there. The number doesn't change. It would always be 96% trading their time for money, and it will always be 3% that makes their money work for them. And then there's another 1%. The numbers do not change, the people change. So all I'm asking you to do is do a move. But the category I want us to really talk about usually is how do you get to the point where you're financially free? And that's when you make your money work for you. And there are many ways to do that. And that's what we kind of simplify in the sessions, to understand that there are many ways. You have lots of options to make your money work for you, which means that you don't need to do anything. It just comes in. And that's why it's called passive income. It does not involve or require your active participation. Typical example: invest in the stock market in a particular stock that you believe strongly in. As the company grows, right, so does the value of the shares of the stocks of that company that you own, so does it grow, right? And we've seen really lots of moves. For example, Okugen went in one day around 300% or 200%, something like that. GameStop, come on, in a week, it moved like about 1,000%, which means that if you put your money there on the Monday, on the Friday, you have multiplied that money 10 times. So you put $100 there on Monday, and on Friday, it's increased, by 10 times, or maybe even 100 times in some cases, some weird cases. And so that's what we're talking about. Without you having to do anything, you can make your money work for you. And like I said, stock market is an option. There are many other options where you basically can do that. It's a real estate investment as well, where you basically can invest in different ways, right? You can invest in a real estate investments trust, right? You can invest in the property yourself and have someone manage it for you. Again, you don't have to do anything. You have a portfolio that has the ability or the setup to create or to increase the money by itself. Another point, which is now multiplying those passive income sources. And my point usually is that um, you can actually only claim that you're wealthy, in my own perspective, when you have 7 streams of income, with most of those being passive income. And that's what you want to strive for. And you need to have a clear vision and a clear goal for how to make that happen, right? What options do I have? What am I going to do to make it happen? So I wanted to start reflecting that, okay, I know that I spend a lot of my time trading it for money, but what I need to do is get out of that and come to this point. And how do you make that move? The question you want to probably ask me is, what's the fastest way to move from 96% to 3% or from 3% to 1%? How do I get from where I am to where I want to be financially? But to be able to make that move, you need to understand cash flow. And this is it, right? Your income statement says that you have a job, you get an income out of it, right? And that income, you spend it and the money is gone. And a typical example is that you get $1,000 as income from your job, $1,000, you pay all the bills, and before the end of the month, the money is gone, basically. Right. Another thing, if you're even living richer, is that you get the income, right? You buy some liabilities, fancy car, fancy stuff, gold, chain, and all those kind of things. It is an expenses and the money is out, but that's not what you want. You want to use your income to buy assets. Assets are things that generates income for you, right? And then out of the assets, that's where you want to spend from. So you use your income to buy assets that increases the income. And of course, I understand that you can even use some of the liabilities to generate assets. So you can buy some assets, using liabilities. Typical example is that you collect a loan, which is a liability, to buy some stocks or to buy real estate property, and that is an asset. But as this increases in value, you pay off the loan, so this is gone now, but you still have the asset. And then the asset generates more income for you that you can spend from. But mind you, you still have the asset, it continues to generate money for you, right? And then whatever you have used to get the asset in the first place, you already paid it off. That is the deal. That's what we are talking about. How can you understand the process of buying assets from your income and not just limiting yourself to expenses alone?